Hi, I'm Jen from Savage, Minnesota, and you're watching Etsy Shop Audits.
It's been out there for 27 months. It's at 1,363 sales, 5.54 on a conversion rate. Bingo. Like, let's do something, right? Like, This is what we're doing.
Okay.
All right, Jen, welcome to the Etsy Shop Audits. I'm super excited to have you. We are going to just kind of go through what you gave us as information for the intake, and then from there, we're going to dig in. And also, you're coming back in a sense because we had you for our Q4 camp, and we did a little mini review, and you've already made some changes. So we're going to show those changes, and we're going to talk about that. But the shop name is We Got Game Gift Shop. The shop age is 5 months old. The niche is athletes, coaches, and fans. Sticking point, this is what you said, sales and customers. Join the club. We're all looking for that. Total revenue, $1,200, and then income goal is $100,000. One thing on the $100,000, is that what you would like for a year, or is there a certain timeline on that? Like, what's the 100K?
Annual.
Okay, cool.
Annual.
I figured that, but I just kind of wanted to make sure that we were clear on that. Okay, cool. All right. So with that all being said, now what I'd like you to do is, you said the sticking point here is sales and customers. Let's expound on that a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more on, like, where are we struggling on that, and what is the biggest sticking point for you right now, and get a little bit more clear on sales and customers, I guess.
Okay, sure. So on the good side of things, I've noticed that my traffic has been up over the last couple of months. Like you said, it's about 4.5 months old right now.
Okay.
So I'm getting more visits. So that's great to see. But my conversion rate is where I'm concerned. It's only at 1.3%. And actually, it was trending around 2% until the last probably couple of weeks. So all of a sudden, things have just gone pretty silent.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, the traffic is still up and it's still heading in the right direction. So I started, a couple of months ago with probably 100 to 200 visits per month. Mm-hmm. Now I'm on track for probably 1,000 in August. So I know that number is going in the right direction, but the conversion rate is not.
Okay.
So that is a piece that, I'd love feedback, or let's dig in and figure it out.
What do you, I'm just always curious, what do you think is a good conversion rate?
I mean, I'd like to be around 2%, right? Okay. I mean, I can live with 1.8, 1.9, anywhere in that zone, but.
Right. So you said you were up, but now it's down to what would you say? 1.4?
It's at 1.3 right now.
1.3. Yeah. But now that's across the entire shop, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So I bet if you dug into the listings that are getting the traffic, then you might see one is converting at 2.1 and one is converting at 1.4 and one is converting at 1.8. And right. So then you're going to kind of identify, yes, the whole is down, but then you almost have to identify where is it down, not just the store is down.
Yep. Good point.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because a lot of times people, and that's why we do these here, so people can also, listen in and watch, is because a lot of times people are looking at their main dashboard and they're looking at their total views, total conversions, total sales, but there's a lot more to the story if you dig into the data. You know what I'm saying? So
is there a way to separate the data out by categories that you have in your shop, or no? Does it allow us to do that?
Not necessarily. You would think they would, but no, it's more of you needing to kind of okay, let's separate it out and see what listings are getting traffic. And then from there, looking at the conversion rate individually. That's why I'm not a fan of having thousands of products, because then it makes it really hard to kind of manage that. Chris, did you want to say something there?
Yeah. So Jen, a 2% conversion rate is definitely doable. The thing to keep in mind is, even if you're doing everything right, that's going to fluctuate tremendously throughout the year. What you're going to see during Q4 typically is that's going to go to 4 or 5%, and then it'll take a nosedive in January. Maybe not for you in your particular market, but generally speaking, right?
Yeah.
And then July and August are a total turkey shoot, right? It's down, it's up, it's sideways. Sometimes it stays the same. The baseline bare minimum that we would want to see on anything is 1%, right? So we're doing better than that. Obviously, 2% is twice as good. 3% is 3 times as good, right? And the higher we can get that, the better. And I think you are focused on something that not a lot of people are focused on, which I love, because it's something you should be looking at. that a lot of people don't. We just have to think about this over the broader period of time. So we should never be looking at conversion rates on like a weekly or even monthly basis in a lot of cases, because it is going to fluctuate. The other thing, like Scott said, is we want to look at this on a listing by listing basis, because if we put in a new listing that we missed something on maybe, or we didn't optimize correctly, and it is starting to get a lot of traffic, that's going to drive that store conversion rate down, but everything else is still doing it. So we do want to look at it kind of on a listing by listing basis to know. And the easiest way to do that is to go in and look at the actual listing stats to see, okay, are these still doing the same as they were? Or did I turn on Etsy ads for the first time? Am I getting traffic from a particular keyword from the search analytics report, which theoretically at some point will be out of beta? I know Etsy just announced that they're moving some of that data over, so it should be a little bit easier to look at some of those kinds of things. But typically when you increase traffic from anywhere, conversion rate will take at least a temporary dip until you find that balance of, okay, when Etsy shows you for this particular keyword, you convert at this percentage point. So just a few things to keep in mind. The biggest takeaway there is just looking at this at the listing level is the easiest way to do it. And it's the way to stay most sane.
Okay. No, that's great feedback. Thank you for that. Because I will tell you, even in the course of the last few weeks, I'm like, is there just not enough demand here? Even though I've done the research, I think that there is, and I think it should be working, right? But then I started to watch that go down. I'm like, what is going on here? But thank you if that's helpful.
Yeah, and I'm just curious. So were you looking at that for like the last 30 days, or what was the time frame?
So I would say that I was feeling like I was getting, and granted, I've only had a handful of sales, right? So 30 something sales. I felt like I was getting a little bit of momentum where it was at least starting to get an order a day. Okay. So I know you probably giggle at that, right? But you got to start somewhere. Yeah. So that was happening. And I was like, okay, this is maybe the beginning of where we start to ramp up for Q4. And then honestly, I mean, just even though the visits I'm averaging like 30-ish now per day. That does represent an increase over the last few months. But things just weren't converting. So I've been watching my stats fairly closely, maybe a little too close in the last couple of months.
Yeah, that's typical. And I mean, it goes for anything, right? Like, I mean, you know, whether it's Etsy, whether it's YouTube, like we watch our stats on YouTube and videos, and then we look at the Etsy stats. It's like everyone wants to see the numbers, right? So that is something that you probably got to get a little bit disciplined on for yourself. It's not easy, trust me. You know, everyone's like, we used to call it back in the day when we were doing a lot of Amazon selling, we used to call it like the Amazon, you know, Russian roulette, where you just kind of like, you're just swiping to see, did I get more sales? Did I get more sales? Right. And it's kind of addicting and sometimes discouraging, because you're like, no, you know, is something broke? So yeah, I definitely, I get it. But I think right now, because you are early, okay, 5 months in, you've been building out the store, you've had like 33, 34 sales. I think that's good, but I don't think it's enough to start really thinking like something's wrong. You know what I mean? I think like you're going to see, like Chris said, ups and downs with traffic. It's going to happen. Are you spending any money on ads yet?
I am. So I turned ads on for the first time in late May. So they've been on for just a couple months. I did start pruning just in the last, week or so. Okay. I wanted to get some data in for a couple months and just see. So I had it on for everything, but I wasn't hitting my target. I only set it up for $5 a day, and it still wasn't generating enough that it was going over the top. Okay. I've since then, like I said, done some pruning to what I actually have in that group of ads and gone through individually some of them, not all of them. I haven't been through all of them yet. But I know that what I'm struggling with is trying to identify, because I have limited data to suggest which ones should I be putting in ads and which ones should I shut off completely. So I've been using the rule of thumb of I go into ads, I look at, what's getting the most clicks, what's getting the most conversion rate, and I've left those on, and then I've taken the other ones off. And it's kind of where I'm at.
Chris, can we pull up the shop now? Let's go ahead and pull up the shop. I'm curious to see, like, what are in your head, what are those products that people are going to lead the people in? You've heard me probably long enough now to say, like, what are those lead products? Like, what are the ones that are going to lead people into the shop that you can go, okay, other people are selling 10 a day. I'm selling 1 a day. Like, what are those products?
So I would say out of the gate, I have a pretty niche down market of people who are coming in and looking for volleyball middle blocker gear. Okay. And I know that sounds strange and it's very, very specific, but that's where I'm getting a lot of views and a lot of favorites and whatnot. I've even had people reach out and ask if they can buy my artwork, the artwork itself, instead of the actual, products. And then the other side of that, what I'm learning through the data is that there is a design that I did it's kind of a sarcastic, funny type shirt for parents about wanting their weekends back, because any parent can tell you that's, it gets crazy.
I can tell you that for sure.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. And I'm noticing that design, which I did that design for a bunch of different sports, not just volleyball, but for several.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a lot. I get my most traffic on that particular design. So I know I need to make more. And I think I need to have like more kind of witty, sarcastic stuff in there, not just customized stuff.
Yep. Perfect. Chris, go ahead and start scrolling. Let's go ahead and I want to scroll through some products and have her kind of tell us too, like, and show us some of these products that are the ones that are.
So actually, Scott, before we do that, I know we did a mini one in the Q4 camp, and it looks like we did make some changes to the banner. We made it more of a seasonal look and feel. We added in some snowflakes and some Santa Claus. What are your thoughts on the VIP club offer?
Hey, real quick, I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes on how these Etsy shop audits even happen. Every single month, Chris Schaefer and I, we meet and we batch record 3 to 4 of these episodes. Then they get edited and they get posted like the one you're watching right now. But what we decided to do is create what we call our Backstage Pass Club. This is where all of our club members, they get to join us on that recording as we're doing it live. The other cool thing is you're able to ask questions, and you also can get access to the recordings before they ever air, immediately, raw and unedited. You even get all the questions that were asked that you might have missed because, well, maybe you couldn't attend that one live. So if you'd like to be part of our Backstage Pass Club and join our next batch recording session, head on over to brandcreators.com/club or click the link in the description. Now let's get back to the audit.
No, I like it. I think it's much better. And actually, if we want, we can go ahead and we can switch real quick and I can show the before because I do have a picture of that. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So I'm going to add this in. There it is. So this was it before. This is what we looked at when we did. It was part of the Q4 camp that we're running right now. And this is what it looked like. And if you notice, the VIP up there kind of got lost a little bit. I mean, you see it, but then it was like save 30%, save 30%. And then the bit.ly link at the bottom is like really hard for people to actually enter, a lot of characters. And so we made some suggestions and said, hey, we're heading into the holidays too. You might want to make it a little more holiday-ish. Also the thumbnail, the profile picture where it says Jennifer, it was just the logo and then the logo. And then we went right back, like I think the following week and noticed that, boom, like you did all these changes, which was awesome. So I love the red, how it pops. I love that it's just a big 30% off. I love that it says join our VIP club, a little bit of details about what it is. And then WeGotGameVIP.com, like got that domain and you're off to the races and some snowflakes, got Santa peeking over. I love everything about it. We've got, so the We Got Game Gift Studio, it's if someone, say, yay, we won. And then Coach Jen, I think that's all good. I think the only thing is on the one, when the person's holding it up, you might just want to put a logo in there just to kind of make it more brand kind of tied. But the Coach Jen, definitely you want an image face picture there, and which you've done. So
that was one of my questions. So yeah, because I wasn't sure. That is actually a picture of me coaching, and so that it wasn't sure if that's
great.
It's too far back. I mean, the picture is not obviously close up, but okay, I'll swap that out.
Yeah. So I mean, if we went back to the original, like that there looks fine.
Yeah.
Like you can just put that right back. And then the Coach Jen, I mean, that looks good, shows your face. But then that picture, you could put that down in your about section. You know what I mean? Of a picture of you. And then because people that want to dig a little deeper, they would see like, oh, this is actually a coach. And, you know, so I think that's all good stuff. So yeah, Chris, I like it. So why don't we go ahead and put you back so you can share. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so I love all that stuff. All right. So what is your, okay. So you right now, you said probably, did you say volleyball is probably like the top, or it's a little bit of a mix?
It's a mix, but I would say volleyball just, and that maybe that's just because I've been doing more volleyball stuff in my store.
Sure.
But there's a very, like that middle blocker, that block party sweatshirt, second row on the left. That has been getting a lot of traction. Again, you know.
Yeah.
And then the shirt next to it, and again, I have a version for moms and for dads, and it is just a shirt that says, hey, you know, I'm just so proud of you and all this, you know, blah, 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 blah. But then it highlights, I want my weekends back is what the message really is. So that has been like, whether it's softball or cheer or, you know, the different variations that I have in the shop, that's been getting fairly good traction.
Okay. So doing your research, what products here, I know you have your own your own data where it's like, oh, I'm getting favorited, or, you know, oh, I've had a sale, but like, what is something that you see that has represented that it's going to potentially have a lot of sales or a lot of traffic?
You know, I wish I had the answer on that because I have so few sales at this point. It's hard to say that, you know, this one's going to be the home run or that one. And the other piece that I think that I have to figure out how to manage better is sports seasons shift, right? So they're always going to be shifting. There's always going to be one coming, one going. So I think that that's going to kind of go up and down. Volleyball season, you know, club ball gets done at the very beginning of July. So there's a natural downtime until fall ball starts up, which is now. So I don't know that I have identified for sure because I haven't had one that's, you know, sold like, you know, 50 of one thing and only 2 of the other. So,
but have you seen anyone else? So like in the research, like, did you do any research to see like, oh, there's someone selling block party-ish type stuff or something volleyball for seniors or someone that just got committed to a college? And like, is there anything that you're like, I got to create something similar to that because they've already proven that there's a lot of sales?
Yeah, I would say a lot of my content is, inspired by many things that I've seen. I think that the higher traffic categories are going to be things like football and basketball versus maybe volleyball and lacrosse. I try to just take inspiration. I don't copy anybody's work, but yes, a lot of what you see in there is based off of searching and finding out what's selling and using Everbee. Okay.
So Chris, so this sweatshirt right here, now, I don't know if you know, my daughter's into beach volleyball. Like she's doing that. You know, we're into right now the college recruiting process, the whole thing, right? So I'm one of those parents. It's like, all right, I want that weekend back, right? These here, and I've got a lot of my friends that and her friends and parents and stuff that you know, they're in the indoor world. We're in the outdoor. They're in the indoor. But this right here, like this here is definitely something that, yes. Okay. So custom volleyball hoodie for middle blocker. Okay. So there could be a search there for that. I don't know. Okay. And so I think all this stuff here that you have is definitely something that could be looked for. Now, again, I don't have any proof. So if we went and did some research and saw if we had any proof, my thing is though, one little thing, and this came to me, this here, if this was advertised on Facebook, okay.
Yep.
People would share it. People would like it because you're targeting those people.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not suggesting you bite that off right now and go start targeting on Facebook and start trying to sell through Facebook. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying though, is it's a good opportunity for you to probably build an email list through Facebook and basically give one of these sweatshirts away. Okay. Because that's the way that we have always built our lists is we will do a bundle. So you might do a middle blocker bundle, and that middle blocker bundle would be this sweatshirt and then something else, socks or something go along with it, or a towel, like whatever else that you're creating. and maybe it's $100 value. And then you would take that and you would run a giveaway against that, and you would target volleyball moms, right, on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're collecting all these email addresses of people that would want it, but not everyone can win it. And then you build an email list of people that are sports moms. And now you can target those people later and send them stuff when it's not busy, or an upcoming season, or the off season, or whatever, right? Like, you're always going to have that. So that's something that, we have been doing for years. And I mean, we have a whole, Chris, what is it? The 1-day email training that we had, which anyone that's watching this, will drop a link in the description if you're interested. But we walk through like how to do the giveaway, how to set it up. And we've got some people here, even in the Backstage Pass Club, that have run the giveaways and stuff. But that's something that would come, like, right now, if you're in season or approaching a season, that's the time that you would probably want to do that. I also think the senior thing, like the hat that you had that was a senior, and or a sweatshirt with the senior, with the parents, that would be kind of like, oh my gosh, like moms would be tagging their friends in a post.
Okay. Yeah, on Facebook. I just barely looked at some of that, and that has run through my mind of, this is really, feels like where I could be advertising.
It's not necessarily an organic play, because Facebook, as well as I do, you go on Facebook and they're going to limit the amount of reach that you have. But if you're willing to put $5 a day into an ad on Facebook, and you set up the giveaway in a way that when people enter the giveaway, they also have additional options to get entries and things. I mean, we use King Sumo to help with that. Then we use Everbee email to follow up. But that's an opportunity for you to be building in this market outside of Etsy, but you're going to lead them to Etsy after you've received their email address.
Okay.
So I just see there's a lot of potential for these products. I just don't know if they're being searched for. That's the thing we always have to ask ourselves. Are we creating something that we think people are looking for? Or are we searching for something like, here, soccer mom custom beanie with team mascot? Is that a search that is being done? I don't know. We'd have to do the research, right? Like, so Chris is doing some right now, like senior gift, but I would go into probably do like, try to put volleyball in there, or a senior sports gift, something along those lines. So we can kind of see, these are just going to be more generic of like seniors graduating, but I'm looking for more of like, even someone committed, like a commitment sweatshirt, like, again, I'm just thinking outside the box, but this is the research that I'd be doing, because I want you to find 3 to 5 products that are getting searched for, because you did the research.
So what number would what is the threshold that you would say for some of these sports or for these products in terms of searches?
Yeah, I don't necessarily.
Is a couple hundred enough or not? Or
it's not so much the searches, it's the sales.
Okay.
Right. It's not so much the searches. Yep. Like, searches don't really mean anything unless they're buying. That's the way I look at it. I mean, and to get search numbers, these are all guesses.
They're all estimates. Okay.
The sales are more accurate, or actually more accurate than a keyword search that you might get. So I'd be looking at like, okay, like, what's that when they're custom volleyball? Libero. That's another big one, right? I know liberos are big, right? Oh, you're a bro, like I know all the lingo. Like, I'm a volleyball dad, right?
Sure.
Been in that for a long time. And I got my buddy right now who's, his daughter's a senior, and all that. So like that one there, I don't know if these are selling, right? So now Chris is running the numbers. So let's just look at this now. Okay. So custom team, volleyball bag. That's another thing too, to add things for accessories for the bag. Yeah, there you go. Customization. Let's see that one, Bulldogs. There's like a stuffed animal. Okay, there we go. Maddie. Okay. And now what's that? Is that a graphic that they're selling, Chris, or is that just a pillow?
No, it's like a makeup bag.
Hey, I wanted to cut in here real quick. If you're wondering what tool we're using to gather all of this information and to really make these important decisions on products, well, the tool is called Everbee. It's the only tool that we personally use for everything Etsy. They have everything from product research, keyword research, and they also offer email marketing now. That tool you can get access to absolutely free when you visit brandcreators.com/Etsy
/Everbee and you'll get 10 free searches for the month. You can try it out before you invest in this tool. My recommendation is every single Etsy seller should be using this tool. So if you want to try it, go to brandcreators.com/Everbee and you can go ahead and get access to it immediately. All right, let's get back to the audit. Oh, a makeup bag. That's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So
maybe.
so monthly sales on that's 48.
Yeah, cosmetic bag.
Okay. So that's 48 a month, right? Chris, go back to that. 27. Okay. So it's been out there for 27 months. It's had 1,363 sales. Okay. Yeah. 5.54 on a conversion rate. Bingo. Like, let's do something, right? Like this is what we're doing.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what I would want to see you do. Like that right there. I wouldn't have thought about a makeup bag.
Me neither.
I just wouldn't have,
Yeah.
So here we go. We just found a product that potentially could lead in a couple sales a day, maybe, and who knows as it gets bigger. Volleyball gift, volleyball player gift, volleyball candle, gift for volleyball player. And then that's a candle that has probably a saying on it that would represent
funny
player.
volleyball saying. I think
is 19 months is the age, 846 sales, 41 monthly sales.
Yeah, the saying is the opposite of volleyball knee pads is what the candle says.
Okay. Yeah, 1,000 favorites. So that's what I would, again, I would like to see you do this to find 3 to 5 products that lead people in. When people come in, then they might see, okay, they came in on the makeup bag, but now they see, oh, they sell sweatshirts too that have this, or, oh, they sell it for seniors. And so it's almost like those products lead people into your store. And when they're in there, they're like, oh, there's more things to look at, right? There's more things that are related to what just brought me here.
So can I ask you guys a question in terms of, for example, some of the biggest volleyball stuff that's selling are those puff sweatshirts, that application of puff.
Yep.
But suppliers are difficult to find. I mean, how do you find, for that? I would love to be offering some of those because they're killing it. They're absolutely on that decorated bliss right there. But how do you find additional suppliers? I've Google searched, I've done all kinds of stuff, and it's like I can't get access to them. Do you ever run into that?
Yeah, I mean that is an issue. Like if you can't find a supplier, but that would be something that you probably could even just talk to someone locally, and someone that does screen printing or any type of printing, they're going to have more knowledge on that. They're like, oh yeah, that's the new puff printing thing, whatever. And they might not do it, but they might tell you where you can get it done. Okay. And if that's the case, then it might be, you reaching out to a company and saying, hey, can you fulfill these? And then it would just be like, you're just submitting the order to them and then they would ship it.
Which would be great if they're willing to. Yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't, if it's a shop and again, it depends how big the shop is, depends, they're old school, and they don't like computers, it's like one of them, you walk into the shop and they're, they've been doing it for 30 years, but they aren't really up on the technology. But it's going to be, and the cool thing about that though is if you find that supplier, now you've just done something that a lot of people are not going to find because you know what I mean? Not everyone can offer that. But I definitely would spend some time trying to figure that out, because if you do figure it out, then it's going to give you an edge and it's something that's trending right now.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I think that's a great idea. But yeah, I mean, what's this here? Custom team name. That's another opportunity for you to do team sweatshirts, right? That everybody would have something and then you get a big group order. So yeah, 98 people bought this in the last 24 hours. That's big.
Yeah. Yep. They're doing well.
Yep. So again, I would use that as inspiration and also validation. Right. So, and I mean, Chris, can we go back now to her shop and just take, so, I mean, your stuff looks good. It really does. It looks great. Yeah. So there's nothing. Okay, there you go. You got a setter too. Cute volleyball. So there. Okay. So cute volleyball shirt for her. I think that needs to be fixed.
Okay.
Because no one's looking for cute volleyball shirt for her. You see what I'm saying?
Yep, I do. And do you guys use eRank as well, correct?
We do not.
You don't. Okay. So eRank has a listing optimization tool where you plug in what it is that you're selling and they will spit back the titles and descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been using it, but that was one of my questions as well, is like, maybe I shouldn't, because you know how you go through and you can see some that are clearly just stuffing words in the titles.
Yeah.
Is it better to have stuffed, or is it better to have a real sentence?
No, it's not. I mean, Chris could go on an hour rant on this.
Okay.
We're not going to let him do that today.
No reason to.
We got other audits to do.
Human readable is the thing.
Yeah.
Etsy's SEO, the way that it is, the algorithm understands synonyms, antonyms, misspellings, right? All of those kinds of things. The difference between color and color in English, right? All of the spelling variations, any of those kinds of things. And so human readable really is where it's at. And if we look at the Etsy buyer survey that we did, that's what people are really looking for, is a title and a description that they can understand. If we want to get some longer tail keywords in, that's what the tags are for. But if we can focus on one or two main keywords and tie that into a sentence that is understandable to a human, it's understandable to the robot, then we get the best of both worlds.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Any tool that's going to spit out a title, I'm a little reluctant on doing that, because again, it's trying to take their own algorithm, or their AI as they might call it, but it's probably just an algorithm that they're, or, like some type of tool that finds keywords that are related and plugs them in and stuff. I'm a big fan of just seeing another listing that's working and then using the keywords that they're using. There's nothing trademarked on, like, middle blocker sweatshirt. You know what I mean? Like, it's what it is. Like, if I'm going to Etsy, I'm not searching for cute shirt for volleyball girl, right? I'm going to search for, if she's a setter, like setter shirt for my daughter. I might put that in there, and then see what comes back. But yeah, it's like, so like if you were to look at like some of your listings, they're probably not performing because they're not properly labeled.
Okay.
So I would spend time there, and really, like I said, I think your big action step is going to be doing the research to find the products and the right titles, so it brings in the right people.
Okay.
Like personalized volleyball coach sweatshirt. Yeah, that could be being searched for. It's exactly what it is, right?
Versus the other one, Scott, that you were just talking about. I think it's cute volleyball shirt for her.
Yeah.
Right. You might put in volleyball shirt or volleyball t-shirt.
Yep.
Right. But it's not necessarily going to be cute volleyball or something like that. Cute is a way that they would filter that down once they type that in. So they're going to type in like volleyball shirt for my daughter, or custom volleyball shirt, personalized volleyball shirt, volleyball gift, those kinds of things. People tend to type shorter things in, and the longer it gets, the less involved you want to be with it. Just let Etsy match it on the back end and figure out what they're going to do. I do think the back half of this title is fine, right? It's a great gift for setter or volleyball setter mom, right? That's okay. We just need to figure out what that main keyword phrase is going to be, and then have that at the beginning. That's going to be the heaviest weighted portion of the title anyway. So if we think about cute being that adjective at the beginning, that's probably not something people are going to type in. That's 4 characters out of the beginning of this title that we're losing that rank potential from. If we can say custom volleyball shirt, or volleyball shirt for her, or comfortable volleyball shirt, even would probably be better than cute, because that's going to be something that people filter on after they've done that initial search.
Okay.
Yeah. The only other thing I would say too, like even on this image right now, like I understand that you're probably trying to get like the look of like, okay, she's a setter. This is what she would wear to go out with the shirt, but I'd want to see a volleyball something in there.
Okay.
So the minute you're scrolling, you see volleyball, like even if it was a volleyball in that one side, or if it was a volleyball, girl sitting there, and that might be harder to find is if you don't have the shirt, you're not going to, actually set it up. But here it'd be a matter of like laying it out and then having like a volleyball somewhere in there. So as you're scrolling, you're like, oh, volleyball, it kind of catches your eye.
I did add that to a bunch of my listings. I do, and it was kind of, month one, I did this, month two, I did this, and kind of learning as I go and whatnot. And that's probably why you see so many like t-shirts and sweatshirts. Honestly, it's just me learning the process of how to even do this.
Yeah.
So a lot of my other stuff does have the sports balls and the everything that's relatable, but some of the older stuff, it doesn't have it.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, you've been 4.5, 5 months, you've done a lot. So, I mean, you've learned a lot. But we're just like refining now. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, designs look great. Mock-up looks great. Nothing wrong with it.
Just
go ahead.
The concern, and I've seen this happen on a few of the different listings that we've pulled up now. And Scott, I want to get your opinion on this. So we have 10 photo slots or 10 media slots, right? We're taking most of these up with just the different color variations. What are your thoughts on that?
I would like to see, instead of, you could put like one swatch together, like maybe the top 3 colors you could do that with. The other ones I would probably want to see it being worn, by the individual to represent it. And then maybe even just like, an image slot of some reviews or an image slot of, free shipping or whatever else is some other benefits that they're going to receive, or even the quality of it. Like you could probably have on the mock-up, like here. Yeah, that's a good one. Here. So that like that there is showing its comfort colors. It's showing, like that's good. So yeah, I would say that's good, but not just to repeat the same mock-up just with different colors.
Okay. You know what I mean? Okay. Thank you. And that was one of the questions I had yesterday, is that's what I was trying to get to. At one of a different, Etsy guru that I was listening to was saying, you really want to show all the colors so that when they select it, they can see what the color actually looks like with the design. But that was one of the questions I had. I'm like, gosh, it's a lot of, spending a lot of time updating those and making sure they're all there to reflect the colors. Is it worth it, or just having a photo slot that shows the available colors obviously is working for other people too. So
yeah, I think that's and it's gonna save you a ton of time, and it's gonna give them what they need to see. They don't need to see a full image on everyone where you have to put I really don't think so.
We know that images are the thing that drive conversion, period, end of story, right? We've looked at this, you can make that assumption. We did the Etsy buyer survey. They ranked that as the single-handed, like no questions asked winner of what drives conversions. The reason for that is they can't pick it up and look at it around. So the person that told you that isn't wrong. The application, I think, of that is potentially incorrect. We do want to show them all of the colors that they can choose from. But the better way to do that is with a color swatch, right? To say, hey, here's this. And maybe if we want to get real fancy with it, we can take those 2 or 3 most popular colors and in the lifestyle photos, rotate through them so that they can get a better look at it wearing on a person, right?
Right.
But if we're doing it this way, they only ever get that one angle, or maybe, in this case, there's, I think, 2 different angles in here, right? Maybe they get this one, so they get one lifestyle photo out of it. But if we can show a few different angles of it, that's usually a bigger conversion driver for people than even seeing all of the different colors. Because in most cases, you're going to have 2 or 3 colors that do really well, and everything else is just kind of there. Right? No one really wants the highlighter yellow comfort color shirt, which wouldn't really match with their brand anyway, but you get where I'm going with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we can show off those different angles, then that's usually a better way to go. And I'm trying to pull up an example here really fast that does that. But if I find one, I'll throw that up on the screen here.
So, okay. We're going to wrap this up here because I think we kind of went through a bunch of like what I see and Chris sees, and I think you agree that if you spend time right now, like you've got like the framework and everything done, like your base is done, you've got like the knowledge on as far as images go. Now I think it's really about finding the right searches that are happening and then getting the demand piece filled. So like we showed you like that purse, right? The makeup bag. That might be something, but that's the process I'd be going through and trying to find evidence and proof of what's going to lead people into the shop that could buy one of the other things that might not be getting searched as much. So that's where I would spend the time leading into Q4. And then the other thing I would do, and this is totally up to you, but I would personally do it, being such a new shop, is I would start building that email list, and I would probably go and run a Facebook, giveaway for middle blockers, let's just say, or setters, either one. And then I wouldn't do this thing and saying like middle blocker, setter, libero. Like I wouldn't do it all combined. If you're going to do that, I would do 3 separate ones, because we all know like the parent is a parent of a middle blocker or a setter or a libero, right? Yeah. So you don't want it to be like you're trying to consolidate everything into one. You want it to speak to that individual. And I would do that. I would do it for, I mean, maybe test it for like a 2-week giveaway where you do it, you run it for 2 weeks, you spend $5 a day on Facebook ads, you build the email list. And then, I mean, our process is always, hey, after it's all done, you pick the winner. Here's the winner. And of course, everyone didn't win, but we want to make everyone a winner. So we're going to give 25% off for the next 3 days. And then you would then promote your Etsy shop. And that's it.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's kind of what we do. Any other questions?
Would you do that specific to just volleyball if you're doing the volleyball one where you, like you said, middle blocker using that example, yep. And then everybody else 25% off volleyball products and just leave it at that, or the whole shop? Since it's
I would do it. Well, you could just do it off that one item, but if you want to get a little more bites at the apple, if you will, then I would just probably say get 25% off anything in our shop. You know what I mean? Okay. That way they can go in there and they might be like, oh, I'll take one of those, and I'll take, and my son, he, or my other daughter is this. And, because one daughter might be middle blocker and one might be a libero. So maybe, like I wouldn't want to limit it to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
That sound good? You got a little action plan?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to look into that because I've been thinking about it, but I'm like, is that just, taking me off in a different direction? I see it for myself, some of the groups that I'm in on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And so for coaching and parents and whatnot.
And I can totally see that getting shared and people are going to get tagged and all that stuff. So even though you're paying for the exposure to get that out there, you're also going to have that post that's being advertised. You're going to be getting that thing more push, because the more interactions it gets, the more reach it's going to get. So that's the other beauty of doing it through Facebook. But the key is to really set up the stuff on the back end, which is, like we had said, setting up the giveaway itself, collecting the email addresses, and then sending out the emails. I mean, we talk about that in our free guide too. So if you wanted to go through it, or anyone that's watching this, if they wanted to go through that, people are watching this, just put email in the comments, and we'll go ahead and make sure that we get you a copy of that. And we can send all of the Backstage Pass Club members that if they don't already have it. But we also do have a paid training that walks you through. It's called the 1-day email list building training, because we're basically, you set it up in 1 day and you let that thing run. So we can give you guys information on that as well. But that's what I would recommend. So, all right. So it looks like you got some homework there.
I do. Thank you. Yes. I do. A lot of homework.
Thank you for giving homework. When I was in school, I was like, darn, why'd they give us homework? I want the night off. But I mean, it's different nowadays, right? We actually want to do this stuff.
Exactly. Yep.
That's funny. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jen, for coming on here. We're going to definitely have to get an update from you, and just keep us posted.
Okay. Will do. Thanks, you guys. Really appreciate it.
So that's a wrap for this Etsy shop audit. But if you want to watch more, well, you can find some more right here. And if you do, well, I'll see you there.